Jai Shri Krishna, dear friends. We are discussing the 18th chapter, and the subject that we are on today is Shri Krishna describes three types of happiness: Satvik, Rajasi, and Tamasi. Satvik, which is the nature of goodness; Rajasi, the nature of passion; and Tamasi, the nature of dullness. As we all know, happiness is the universal aim of life. It depends what is the source of our happiness, how do we derive our happiness. That decides the quality of our happiness, and it also derives spiritually whether it is Satvik, Rajasi, or Tamasi. In the 37th verse of the 18th chapter, Sri Krishna describes Satvik happiness, happiness which is of the nature of goodness. Let us chant the verse first and then we will understand it in brief. Yattadagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tatsukham sattvikam proktam Atma-buddhi prasadajam. That happiness which is yattat agre visham iva, agre at first, in the beginning, which is like a poison, but pariname mrutopamam, pariname at the result, at the end, amrutopamam, which is like a nectar. So that happiness which is like poison in the beginning but like nectar at the end, tat sukham sattvikam proktam, that happiness is of the nature of goodness. But one more writer, Sri Krishna, puts it, that is atma buddhi prasadajam, that happiness which springs from the clear understanding of the pure self. Atma buddhi prasadajam. Atma is the self, buddhi, understanding, prasada. If you all remember, in the 64th verse of the second chapter, Sri Krishna has described prasada word for the first time, and then going further he said that prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyoupajayate prasanna chetaso yasho buddhi paryavatishthate. So prasad is ecstasy, joy, divine joy. The happiness which springs from the divine joy as a result of the pure understanding, the clear understanding of the pure self. That is called Satvik, nature of goodness. Let us try to understand. Yattadagre vishamiva, Sri Krishna says, the happiness which is like poison in the beginning. A question may arise in our mind that is it necessary that all Satvik Sukha, all good happiness, should be like poison in the beginning? It should be like a punishment in the beginning? Not really. Actually speaking, it is not the Satvik happiness which is like a poison in the beginning, but we are used to Rajasi or Tamasi happiness. We are, since birth, since so many births, and probably in this birth also, we are used to the happiness which is at the result of a passion or dullness. In order to achieve the Satvik happiness, we have to leave aside, we have to be free from this happiness which is of passion or dullness. And leaving this happiness that we are used to is a very arduous task. That seems like poison. Because it's human nature. Whatever we are used to, we find ourselves comfortable. We don't want to leave that cocoon. And Shri Krishna says that if you want to evolve yourself, you will have to be courageous enough to leave aside the type of happiness that you are used to. And mostly, which is Rajasi and Tamasi, which is, we are coming in the next two verses. Krishna explains in the 38th verse, he explains the Rajasi happiness. the happiness of the nature of passion, and in the 39th verse, he explains the happiness of the nature of dullness. Leaving this happiness is like poison because we don't want to leave it. They say, whatever in our hand, if some person is holding, say, pieces of glass in their hand, and he is told that if you progress in life, if you hike this mountain, and you will find real diamonds at the top. Now, well, I am holding, maybe it's piece of glass, but for me it's like diamond. And people around me also understand that they are diamonds. So why should I leave it in order to achieve that pure diamond? So this leaving and achieving that higher ore, the purity, is arduous, which seems like poison. But once I go there, once I achieve real diamonds, I see the sparkle of it. Obviously, I will feel that, oh, till now I was just holding pieces of glasses. Throw them away. But at the result, it's like, in the result, it is like nectar. But to begin for it is a very tough task. And hence Sri Krishna says that this happiness is difficult in the beginning, but very joyous at the end. And most important thing Sri Krishna says here is Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. What is Atma Buddhi? Atma Buddhi is the buddhi, the intellect, the wisdom or the understanding in which there is no attraction for the worldly appreciation, there is no attraction for praise or fame. Maybe there is not much attraction left for worldly pleasures, hoarding of wealth, power. All these things look frivolous because whatever is created, whatever has come to me today is definitely going tomorrow. So the understanding which has seen the end of that which comes today is a clear understanding. And what is the eternity? It's the wisdom of pure self. It's an awareness of the pure self. So the happiness which springs from me is sattvic. The happiness which is derived from the objects around, from the people around, it's not going to last. It may be of the passionate nature, or maybe of the dullness nature, but definitely not of sattvic. What is the happiness that is of the nature of dullness? And Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. The word prasad, dear friends, you all have studied the entire Bhagavad Gita by now, so you should remember in the 64th verse of the second chapter, Sri Krishna comes across, gives us the word prasad for the first time, and he says that ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atma buddhir vidhe atma vashyir vidhe atma prasadam adhigacchati. While describing the sthita prajna, Sri Krishna explained that. And what is the prasad? Prasad is not just what is given at the end of the discourse. No. Prasad, in the 65th verse of the second chapter, Sri Krishna says, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya upajayate prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishthate. Prasad is that which ends all the sufferings, because suffering is an interpretation. Prasad, the prasannata, the joy, inner pleasure is a real eternity once we know our pure self. Let us come to the next verse in which Sri Krishna explains the happiness of the nature of passion, the Rajasi Sukh, the verse 38th of 18th chapter.